Hi everyone. Really chuffed today to have Scott Morton from the Hybrid Performance Centre in Bolton and Emma Waring from MyZone, who, as you know, will be helping me facilitate this whole thing, the whole event. But today is all about picking Scott's brain, and we're going to talk for probably around 15 minutes about the kind of work that he does. Scott, thank you ever so much for being with
No
us
problem.
today. Really appreciate it. Um, just so everyone knows, Scott, the tell us a little bit about HPC in Bolton, please.
So, Hybrid Performance Centre, it's a functional training facility based in Bolton. Um, we've got members from all different ages, backgrounds, um,
Mm,
abilities, and that's the kind of facility it is that anybody can come in and train in this facility. The sort of ethos around the facility is we get you to a fitness point where you can practically think about anything that you want to do, and you should be no more than 12 weeks away from competing it. So, whatever state you're in, we've had people turn their hands to maybe going doing a photo shoot for aesthetics, to then completing an Ironman, completing in triathlons, ultra running events. So, whichever end of the spectrum you want to go, you should be in a state where we can get you to by going, right, okay, that's the path you want to go, we can get you there. Or you want to go the other way, the more extreme sort of functional fitness route, or whatever you feel might be the route you want to go, the goal that you think is so far away, we can go. Well, we'll be able to get you there with our training methodology and everything. So that's the kind of place that the HPC is. Primarily,
how long has it been open for, Scott?
so it's coming up to its second year birthday this week,
Okay.
this weekend.
Happy
Sorry,
birthday.
the 28th. So it's coming up to its second year birthday. We've actually got an event on next weekend. So we're hosting the Gateway Games, it's called. So
Yeah.
it's another sort of functional fitness competition that we've got running. So this is run by two of our coaches called Ash and Debs. So what they have done is they've come up with it's a great pathway for people who, because a lot of these gyms from the outside in, they can look very, very intimidating. You
Yeah.
can see the type of people that are in there, physique wise, what they're doing exercise wise in classes, and you could be very intimidated if you aren't somebody who thinks they are at that level to step in to that world. So what they came up with the concept and the idea of is having what they call a gateway program. So this bridges the gap between newcomers to people who are currently on the classes. So they come in and they go through a series of weeks. And what Ash and Devs have done very well is they break down every single movement you will sort of typically see on a class program. They coach them, they teach them. They teach them about things like intensity in classes. So next week, they've got the Gateway Games, which is the first one on the second birthday of the HBC. And that is everybody who has been through sort of the Gateway program. I think they're on the fifth intake now over the last 12, 18 months. So everybody who's been through that and hasn't experienced a competition is going to be competing in that next week. Um, so yeah, so to sum it up, it's the HPC is basically if you want to do anything you realistically set your mind to, you will be able to whichever way you go down the spectrum, basically.
Do you get people that come in, Scott, and they're like, they don't really know what they want. They just need to get fit. They feel crap, or the doctor might have said, or
Yeah, we have
family.
we have a lot of and I guess us as coaches we get those types of clients as well. But
Yeah.
you'll typically see members coming in who mainly just want to get fit and have just come for a class, maybe want to lose a bit of weight, get the fitness up, and then what you'll slowly start to see in them is they start getting the energy off other members, they start getting the energy off other people in and around the coaches, and then they'll start saying things like, "Oh, I fancy doing this." So High Rocks has been massive for us. It's been a big one for us.
Mm.
We've had a lot of people do High Rocks through our gym. I think we took around 60 members to Birmingham last year. So that was probably the biggest one we did. We took about 60 members, but you'll see them come in, start the classes, and then you'll see them start mentioning, "Oh, I've always fancied doing this." And it's not sort of peer pressure, but it's sort of your peers in the gym and the coaches saying, "Well, what's stopping you? Why can't you do it?" The only thing that's stopping you from doing it is you telling yourself you can't. So
Yeah.
it's like a group collective effort to whatever anybody says they want to do, we'll say, right, let's go and do it. We can do it. If you want to run an ultra marathon and you've never run one, you'll go and run one. We'll get you fit for it. We'll train you for it. But yeah, we typically have a lot of members who I think off the top of my head we've got David, who we call Diddy, um, and another lady called Lindsay. Now, if you looked at them two, you would see quite the older gentleman and woman who you think would just go to the gym, and they basically came because he wanted to get fit. Dave had a history in knee issues, and he completed High Rocks last year. Same with Lindsay. She trains on High Rocks classes every single week, completes trail runs, has done marathons, half marathons. So it's the typical everyday person then going to that next level of what they didn't
Yeah.
think was expected of them and they couldn't achieve. But yeah, primarily the general population coming in and then going to up here from down here where they came in.
And do you find that you've been able to, because obviously the more people that they get that feeling of, they make friends with other members, I'm sure, during the training sessions, and I'm sure you have where they buddy up and do workouts together, etc., etc. And then do you find that then gives you as a coach more opportunity? You've got more, if you like, more business opportunity, more opportunity to coach people to prepare for their chosen event, whether it's High Rocks or something else.
Yeah, so as I say, High Rocks, I'll keep referring back to High Rocks because as I say, it
Hey,
has been massive for us. So it is something that there is a big community in and around High Rocks about people who want to do High Rocks and train High Rocks. Another one of our coaches, Cami, she hosts free classes. She does one on a Friday, which is a female only class. She'll do a male only class on Saturday and a male only class. A male only and a female only on Sunday mornings as well. Um, but there's so many different avenues you can go down it. With the coaches there, they'll all pick something that they can do. So we have another coach called Liam who does two separate track days. Now, it's not something you would typically see at a functional gym. So we go off site to a running track around the corner from us, and we have 2 sessions a week there where Liam will host those sessions. So community wise, it's built a really big core of people, not just from our gym, but from other surrounding areas who want to come down and travel and train in that environment, not specifically for that event. Some of them may never do High Rocks, but they want to be in and around that event or that training session. And it's built that big community where I would say the majority of the people who came to the gym weren't friends, but are now close friends. So you do have that real big community feel about it. And I feel that I know we said on the phone, like commercial gyms, they sort of missed that boat a little bit.
mm,
And it's something that probably most commercial gyms can implement these days because of the way that the gyms are laid out and the way that the fitness industry's gone as in more functional.
yeah.
They do have the facilities, etc., but it's just nailing that down. And that could come down to the vision of the gym, or it could come down to just one PT having a vision of going, I want to create this in here. Um, so yeah, community wise, we have built that big core of where we'll have people do high rocks. We'll have people who are now starting to dabble more in functional fitness events like CrossFit events and stuff like that, and
Mm,
CrossFit competitions. So we have a multitude of different ways, ultra marathons, trail runs. We host things like that throughout the year where our members will jump on. We've got another one coming up, which is we've called it it's a collaboration with a running club and running trainers near us, where there's 3 weekends on the bounce. It's a track session run workout, a trail run workout, and then we've got an indoor workout, 3 sessions on the 3 weekends on the bounce where it's a mini competition. So that's gauged a lot of interest. There's so many spin-offs and avenues you can go down when you build that big community
mm.
that people will buy in. If one group of friends is doing it, the others don't want to miss out.
Yeah, that's the point, isn't it? Fear of missing out. Once you're
Yeah,
part of that community, it's difficult to leave, isn't it? Even if you're not,
yeah, it is. Yeah,
even if you've made a decision not to compete or whatever, you might go to the running sessions because you enjoy
yeah,
running, and so they become your little group, they become your community, and leaving that is, there's got to be something special, I think, to pull members at once they're part of that family, if you like. It's something special that pulls them away from that.
Yeah, I think it's either got to be something special or something really catastrophic that makes them go, I'm not doing that
Yeah.
then. But I
Yeah.
think if you get it right and you get it right from sort of like the coaches, the environment, the energy and stuff like that, I think it's very hard to leave that. And if you think about the functional sort of like the independent functional facilities that you see, and you tailor that up against a commercial gym, there's so much more potential for it in commercial gyms,
I know.
just sheerly because of the huge client base they have. I think the last gym, the commercial gym I was at before I moved to hybrid, I think there was around about 4,500 members.
Mm.
We've probably got just under 200.
Yeah.
And you look at the community we've built there against a commercial gym environment, you don't really see it as comparable.
No. And I bet percentage wise, they're a lot less likely to leave HPC than the
Yeah, I'd
gym
say so.
that
Yeah,
yeah.
I'd say so. And again, that comes down to the environment in terms of like the energy and stuff like that that you create that community more than anything. Um, but yeah, it's quite hard to leave something like that.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Emma, have you any thoughts? Anything that you, from your observations of HPC and others?
Yeah, I just think it comes from the top. Like every type of culture comes from the top, and where you've got personal trainers that actually really care about the service they deliver and their qualifications and getting members the results, and then that enthusiasm breeds within the community. And it only if you've got a personal trainer that enthuses a member, and then that member goes out and enthuses everybody else and drags people in, and people are saying, "Oh, I don't know if I can do that class." Of course you can. Come and do it with me. And that comes from the PT or the owner of the independent facility. And I do wish that the commercial sector would be a bit more customer focused in that respect, rather than thinking as a PT, what's in it for me? How am I going to make my money this week? How am I going to make this 50K that I was promised that I would make as a personal trainer in all the marketing literature for a 2 day course? How am I going to make that my money? They see their members as payments rather than people. And I think the difference is HPC and facilities like that around the country that are doing incredibly well with building their communities are focusing on building a community, not focusing on earning money. The money comes as a secondary factor.
So Emma, if
That's my observation.
that's great input. So if looking at the LFX membership, and LFX members will be watching this, who is that person at the top? Is it the health and fitness manager? Is it the commercial director? Who do you feel, or could it be any one of those as long as somebody takes ownership of this?
I think it can be any one of those as long as they do take ownership of it and somebody's given the job to drive it forward. And it has to be somebody that cares, that
Mm,
really cares about the people that they're servicing,
yeah,
and then encourages other people to build the community with them. And also, when it comes to competitions, like Scott said about High Rocks or any competition, once you've been through pain with people and you've got a common ground of saying that ski erg was awful, I nearly died on those lunges, or those kind of things, you may not have spoken very much to the person next to you in that class, but once you've been through that experience, you've got common ground to speak
yeah,
about.
yeah,
And that then encourages and builds relationships within your facility.
mm.
And there is nothing like going through pain with people, that it
Yeah.
serves as a massive bonding experience.
Yeah, because people really do open up to they have
Yeah.
a choice of it. And, I
I
nearly
think I think
died.
that's a big thing for coaches as well because I've been on both sides of it. I've been in the commercial gym environment
Yeah,
as a PT coming through for 3 years, and then I've obviously made the transition to being self-employed. And I would say what Emma touched on there about coaches leading by example. I've been in that position where I've been right. Well, I'm going to go in. I'm going to do my shift hours. I'm going to do my PT. Then I get to go home. I switch off. When you get to when you, if I were looking back at it now, I would do things so much more different to what I did. I think
right,
as a PT,
Scott. Sorry, I was going to ask you exactly this question. So
yeah,
please tell,
I'll
go
say
into
so.
as much detail
But
as you want.
in terms of what Emma was saying about coaches, I think coaches should lead from the front. and I'll go into what you were just about to ask me, but coaches should lead from the front, because you look at what members are trying to gauge from you as a coach. They're trying to gauge direction, results, and everything else. Our coaches, where we are, you could have asked them what events have they done, and you could probably cover anything that you want to do. So, I mean, personally for me, I've done marathons, I've done half marathons, I've done NFG, I've done high rocks 5 times, I've done triathlons, multiple different events, so that you can. I think part of it is showing that you can walk the walk
Mm.
and that you can do it. And secondly, it's you can then relate that then to your clients. So like Emma was saying, that obviously a client wants feedback and stuff like that, and we still compete actively with our members. I'll do it with my clients. I'll still actively compete in teams at team events with them. We just recently did turf games. I think we took 18, 19 people down, maybe a bit more. So we still actively compete with clients. I'll throw clients into competitions and say, listen, if you don't want to do the scaled version, I'll do the full version with you. It's not a problem. We'll break that ground of getting you in. So you're getting buy-in from them, because they know that you have walked that path that they're trying to go through. So
Mm.
I can quite comfortably turn around to a client and go, listen, you're going to hit that ski erg on the first bit on the high rocks, and if you've ran out too fast, you're going to really die on that ski erg. So you need to run out that first run really like comfortable, 70, 80%. Make sure you don't die on the ski, and then you can start to put your foot down a little bit. Or I could turn around to another client and go, listen, you're going to have to dig in when you hit kilometer 30 on that marathon, because that last 5, 10K, it's a hellhole. No matter what you tell yourself, don't stop. So you need to have had them experiences so you can relate to clients. So looking back on what I would have changed, going into your next question about when I was at a community gym or a commercial gym environment, I don't really do too many things dissimilar to what I do now. But I would say that the big thing is that I experienced as a commercial gym PT is you miss a lot of tricks. You switch off when you go home. You only deal with clients actively when you're in the gym, unless you are a very, very good commercial gym PT who's killing it. You actively switch off. You're in for an hour. It's see you next week. What do you do to follow up with them? How do you make sure your clients are gauging progress? There's a lot of things that I would have done differently. So the way that I deal with active clients now is you will have an active check-in once a week where there's feedback, there's video analysis, there's stuff like that. And the biggest thing I would say for commercial PTs at the minute is I would start running your business as if you were self-employed. Like, because there is a big difference, and you will gauge bigger feedback from your clients, and you will get a bigger client base, and you will get better results. So if you're not managing or tracking clients' progress, whether that be doing a weekly check-in, whether that be doing a video call once every 2 weeks, asking them how they are, how the nutrition is, how the training's going, is there anything you struggle with this week? All those little markers are big things that I think commercial gym PTs sometimes miss out on. Building a community.
Yeah.
Commercial gyms, with the amount of memberships they have and active members in a gym, if you can build that community, you can grow that to whatever you want and scale it to however big you want. So looking back when I was a commercial PT, if I had the experience back then, I would start to work as if I was a self-employed PT as part of a team in there, because you gauge far more from it.
Yeah, I do. I'm listening to everything intently, and I think you're absolutely right. I think there's also this, I would imagine for you, Scott, all this, you've probably learned as a coach a hell of a lot, being involved with all these things, a lot of technical stuff, but also a lot about building communities and maintaining a community. And I think there's this real, and it's sad, and Emma touched on it, but there's this thing that, well, if you do our course, you'll come out at the end of it, and then you'll have loads of business, and you'll have a lifestyle that you probably move to Dubai, to be honest. You'll end up, and actually what happens is people they have these big gaps in their own timetable, and so what do? They sit on Instagram thinking if I get more likes, I'll get more business, and only a handful of PTs do well on that. And I think
the inspiration thing is terrible. Social media's got a big part to play in that, but
Yeah.
The instant gratification things of, I mean, I fell into this trap a few years ago. So, like you're saying there about doing a PT qualification, coming out, being promised 50 grand a year, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard because if
Mm.
you think about what are you going to do in your free time? So I always used to have people say to me, "Oh, well, but you finish at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon." And it's like, yeah, but I've been in since 5. I've already done an 8, 9, 10 hour day.
Mm.
Like, I think a lot of PTs won't do the stuff where it's outside of a paid hour, like PT, stuff like that. So when do you do your programming? When do you check in with clients? When are you doing your social media stuff? If you're a self-employed PT, you have still got a full-time job. There'll be hours in the day
Yeah.
where you might be doing 4 hours of content creation that you're not going to release for another 2 weeks.
You're running a
Stuff like
business,
that.
aren't you? You're
Yeah,
running.
you've got to treat it as you are running
Mm.
a business.
Absolutely. Right, any final points?
Not that I can think of really, apart from the fact that, when Scott touched on the fact that he's willing to jump into a team with people. I think that's really important, and it goes back to
Yeah.
leading from the front, because that member knows that you've got faith in them. Then they know that, and they look up to you because they're listening to everything you say. They're following your program. They're paying you for a service, and you say to them, "Well, I'll come and do it with you. I'll do a doubles with you, or jump in our team of 4. Yes, you can do it." And they might feel like they're dying during the competition, because everybody does. Regardless of what level you are going to feel like you're dying because you're giving it everything for that period of time that the competition is on. Doesn't matter how fit you are. But to know that the coach, the person that coaches you towards everything, is willing to be there and for you to be on their team, it just speaks volumes in faith of that person, their ability.
Yeah.
And then they go away going, my coach is amazing. He got me through this. He or she got me through this process to be able to compete. And they hate every minute of it during the day, but when they cross the finish line or the last event's finished, they love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then go and tell everyone. So,
Absolutely. And don't want to
I think
miss
it
out
comes
on the
down to
next one.
being vulnerable as a coach as well. If you're a coach who isn't going to expose yourself in case, I know full well I've got clients who are fitter than me, stronger than me,
Mm.
probably further on than me. But if I'm not willing to be vulnerable and show them that, yeah, I'll expose myself to that as well, I'm not then going to ask them to do it. It's the same as if you were in a consultation with a client. If you're not willing to be vulnerable and divulge information about you
Yeah.
to a level where that then makes somebody open up, you're not going to get anything back. So I see it quite a lot, PTs and coaches who aren't willing to, or they're asking people to do things that they would never do, stuff like that. You've got to be able to either have been through it or go through it with somebody to.
Yeah. You got to walk the walk, haven't you, Scott?
Trust. Yeah, it's not just walking the walk. It's just you can't ask people to do things that you're not willing to do yourself, and you don't gauge trust or grow as a PT or a coach that way because you haven't got the experiences for it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you, Scott. Really appreciate your time. And Emma, thank you for your obvious wisdom and for the strategic position of the Team MyZone banner. Nobody will forget. No, thank you both. Really appreciate it.
No problem.
Cheers.